Let's explore the magical world of 3-3 City. Hello Internet, welcome to the Pin Line. My name is Jesse. On this channel I explore Magic the Gathering art from throughout Magic's history, one card and one piece at a time, most of the time. Last time we looked at Bray of Clan Stout Arm from Lormon Eclipsed. Check out that video on my channel. Today we're going to do an interesting one. One of my favorite cards from Bloomburrow. Again, another Bloomburrow card, but yeah, it's just one of my favorite sets of the past years. It's going to be this card, 3-3 City, and it has a bit of, I think it has very interesting elements, both on a technical side and the storytelling, as well as how it came to be. So let's talk about the card of today, and let's dive in. So 3-3 City is a legendary land, so you can only have one in your deck, basically. It's as it enters, you choose a creature type, you tap it to add a colorless mana. You can also pay 2 and tap it to choose a color and add an additional amount of mana of that color equal to the number of creatures you control of the chosen type. So yeah, very good in a typal deck. So for instance, in my spirit deck or in my bird deck, right, I choose birds, and then you can add, if you have like 10 birds on the field, then you can get a lot of mana in. So a very good card, very great in Commander, for instance. So yeah, pretty cool. It's an art by Grady Frederick. Very nice. Yeah, it's beautiful. This is not the only version of it. They made special versions of this card, alternate arts, full art, with one piece of art for every season. Also quite cool, and very cool collector value, I would say. But I wanted to show this one because I think it's the most interesting in terms of composition and what it all has in it. So yeah, let's look at it. Medium, I think it's a digital piece. Looking at the details and how some of the brush work is done. I know Grady Frederick is a digital artist most of the time, so I think it makes sense that this is a digital piece as well. What is depicted on the card? Yeah, it's a sort of interesting world. Yeah, it's a tree. Obviously, you're looking at some kind of woodland with trees in it, and in the trees, live all kinds of creatures or characters. You see, buildings inside the landscape here, and those buildings are, lit up. You see little lights in them, so you see that there's sort of, it's a living city almost. And it also feels like there's different, if you look at it closely, there's different, almost different districts or, parts of the city where different characters or creatures are living. Let's use the piece that he put on his art station, because that's actually here. There's a lot more detail in it. So yeah, here you see way more detail. And I think it's interesting that you see, you have these windmills here in the front, and then in the back you have this sort of more central hub or living quarters. Very reminiscent of the Sydney Opera House almost. Sort of cool looking things here. And then here in the top, in the background, you see bats flying, and you see also, sort of the quarters, or sort of the living quarters of where the bats are living almost. So I think that's very cool. You see all these details, and then you learn that, hey, there's lots of different creatures living here, but they also have different ways to live and to use the tree in a way. On the foreground, we see some characters walking upwards the path and towards the city, and you see all these characters. Then sort of you get to know them a bit. Like you feel like, hey, it's a busy city. There's all kinds of creatures living here. So yeah, it's quite cool. The banners come back in different cards as well. So there's also a card called Patchwork Banner. So it's very connected, the whole set in terms of art. So I think that's also quite cool in a way. So this element comes back in different cards as well. So in terms of flavor, this really matches, right? This land is all about creatures and types of creatures. So you can choose the creature living here, and for instance, a bird or a rabbit or a frog or something like that. and then gain benefit from it. So yeah, flavor wise, it really matches. So let's dive into the picture itself and how it's created, and the composition, the perspective, the lighting. I think really striking is obviously the lighting here and how smartly that's done, right? These rays of light peeking through the foliage at the top really, yeah, highlight the center part of the image, and then you start discovering all these, yeah, things living in the shadows or happening in the shadows here in the background. Smart bits of lighting here and there on, you know, these living quarters here. So here, very subtle sunfall on the windmill here, and on the ground here, and maybe and the birds here in the back. So I think that's really very nicely done. We're on a sort of ground level, and you get the feeling like, hey, wow, you see through these leaves, right? Through the leaves here at the top and through the tree, you're walking upwards into this massive city. And that's sort of an epic feeling, right? That's really well done, I would say, and really, really nice to feel. You want to explore this. You want to go there. Oh, what's behind there? What's in this building? What's in that building? What lives here on top? And how could I walk there? Right? Is there a sort of path here that I could go to, or is this only reachable by flying? Yeah, that's really nice sense of yeah, vibe and scale here. This bridge here, right? I don't know. Maybe there's a sort of cave here that you can, or sort of nooks and crannies that you can enter here, and go into the city. So very mysterious, and you want to. It really feels like, hey, I want to explore there and, yeah, find out what's going on. Composition is obviously very smartly done with the foliage here at the top, and then sort of the tree in the front, and you get a bit of blur here as well. So really interesting, smart elements to, yeah, really guide your eye towards the center here. Yeah, very nicely done how this tree is working and working its way upwards and gives space for the buildings to live here. So this picture was on the ArtStation account of Grady Frederick, and then I was thinking, hey, there's also been a lot of I saw some different trees and different work from Leon Tucker, one of the concept artists at Wizards, as well, about this tree. So I looked that up as well, and I think it's really interesting to see that how these things come together and how this sort of art direction works in Magic, and how things are sort of evolving from different concept pieces, and how, yeah, things come together. So looking at some of these images, so this is an actual concept art for the 3-3 city as well, and here it's a bit more on ground level, right? So here you see more the idea of multiple trees, and then below that, is the housing and live the creatures, and you see, yeah, a bit of shades here in the background here, right? So, or shapes here. So there's probably things living here and here. So yeah, this is a sort of initial concept art, and this one is actually, yeah, further developed into sort of the alternate art version of 3-3 City with the seasons. So I thought it was quite funny to see that, or interesting to see that. Then you also have this one is a bit more of a detail on probably the frog people that live near the water. Yeah, and how their buildings would look, and you see a lot of details in here, but it's not very fleshed out, right? So that's typical of concept art, right? It's just to get the idea across and then further develop it down the line. And this version is actually most closest to, yeah, what we have in the final Grady Frederick piece. Is like, hey, you know, there's a tree, and in the tree we have buildings living in their tree houses and stuff, and then below that there's also all kinds of, you know, city-like elements. I think this really probably gave a lot of the guidance for Grady to build that final piece. But I do say he took it to the next level. He made the scale right. Really epic. And you know, I think that is sometimes a bit lacking in these concepts. So the scale is not completely there yet. and or just as epic in the Grady Frederick piece. But yeah, you feel it here, but less so here, I would say. And then yeah, this really brings that scale to the next level by very smartly guiding your eyes, but also yeah, putting this in the foreground, right? And you feel the depth here by having this in the foreground and this piece in the background. So that's really cool. And just the amount of details and sort of the scale at which this is drawn also really makes that work, as well as the backgrounds here and here. You really feel the depth of this wood and this woodland. So yeah, and then we have the typical elements here that make it look like a digital painting. Here you see the brushes, and here you see a bit of the brushes, right? The brushwork. So that's very typical of digital drawing, but that's fine. It still gives this very painterly. He added this sort of effect with these brushes across the canvas to give this painterly effect. And you see that very nicely in this full art version as well. So yeah, overall very great. In terms of readability, yeah, looking at the card, right, you see it's a land, you see the tiny details, you can make out, right, this rabbit here in the front. So yeah, readability wise, it's fine. And then once you go again, zoom in on it and look at it closer and really take in the card yourself, then you start really discovering all these cool little elements that are happening there. So really cool. So closing thoughts, yeah, amazing, romantic, epic, vibrant piece, really lovely, but also gives you this sense of, hey, I want to explore, I want to go there and see what is happening in this city. I want to go there inside and see what people are doing, what creatures are doing there, how they are living. So the fact that it conveys that sense really is really strong. So lovely piece. What do you think? Is there anything I've missed about this piece? Do you have any feedback? Really appreciate it. Is there a card you want me to look at? Leave your feedback in the comments below or hit me up on Instagram. You can find me there on the pin line as well. So please take a look at that. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this look at 3-3 City and some of the concept art that made it happen. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my videos, you want to keep track of it, please consider subscribing to my channel. And that would be really appreciated. Hope to see you all next time. Enjoy your day. Have a great time. Cheers.